Well, good morning, church. Thank you for joining us for our daily Devo. Today, we're in Revelation chapter 18. If you were with us yesterday, in chapter 17, we read about the rise of Great Babylon, of how this economic system rooted in greed, in power, in rebellion against God, grows in power and becomes something dominant over the whole world. Well, in this chapter, we see that it now falls, that its influence is destroyed, that it's destroyed. We see God's justice against this wicked system. And we see, one, those who were involved in this system and profited from it, they mourn. And we see heaven rejoice as righteousness prevails. Now, if I was going to teach this chapter, I would probably look at 4 points. First, understanding the certainty of judgment. That no matter what's going around us, it's easy to think that justice doesn't happen. It's easy to see the righteous seem to suffer when the wicked prosper, when those who go against God seems like everything's going for them. And in those moments, in those times, like in chapter 17, we need to know that chapter 18 is coming, that there will be a time of justice. There's a certainty that each of us will stand before God, those to be judged if they know Christ or not, and even those of us who are believers if we lived a life worthy of Him. I would talk about the second point, the call for separation, how we are to live in this world, but not let this world live in us. That we have to be very careful that we don't, in a sense, become brainwashed by the system we live in. We won't be brainwashed, but we will be brainwashed according to Romans chapter 12, where it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be what? Transformed by the renewing of your mind. I would teach about the third point about the temporary nature of the worldly system and its wealth and power, that everything that looks so great is just temporary and it's going to disappear. So building your life on possessions that you can't keep, power that you will lose, status that will go to someone else is really a fruitless thing to do. And last, I would talk about how heaven rejoices when justice prevails. We've seen that from the Old Testament to now. What is the future when it will happen when Babylon falls? That when justice prevails, those who are righteous, including heaven, including the angels, rejoice. I think the application for us is really three things. One, we need to really beware of building our life around worldly pursuits. We live in the world, so nothing wrong with owning a house, owning a car, having savings, doing these things. But understand that God blesses us so we can be a blessing of others. And everything God has given us, we need to hold very loosely. Because we are in this system. There could be a market crash. There could be a war break out. There could be things that if we build our life around this world system, we'll suffer like everyone else. But even if we're in this system, if we hold it lightly, we know no matter what we face, God is there. God is there to empower us to go through it or supernaturally change it and take us out of it. I would say that one of the applications is we need to be salt and light in this corrupt world. That in a world that's getting sucked into the most important person is the one who has the most toys, has the most money, has the most power. We need to be different. We know that, narrow is the path that leads to eternal life. Broad is the path that leads to destruction. We need to do more than find the path, but we need to point out to others where the good path is. I'm wearing this t-shirt. Just in a few days, we're going to be having our Christmas Eve at Milton Frank. And what a great opportunity to reach out to people who are your neighbors, who are your friends, who are your coworkers, and say, hey, you guys ought to kick off Christmas with something that really helps you remember the reason for the season. An incredible service, full of energy, great music, inspiring message, and fireworks. And you never know how that little invitation might draw someone in. And the last, I would say, of the application is trusting God's justice. That when you wonder, why are these people who don't love God prospering? Why are these? Just lean on God. In the end, believe me, you will be very happy for the choices you made. In eternity, we'll look back and we live our life the way God called us to live. Though it may not look good for the moment, compared to everyone else, we'll be very pleased to one day hear from God, well done, my good and faithful servant. Guys, thank you for being with us with our Daily Devo. I hope you'll continue tomorrow.